What is up, boys and girls, and welcome back. Thanks for watching. If you're new, please subscribe, and if you like what you see, shoot me a like. So it's about almost 5 a.m. right now. Just got done dropping my fiance off at the Austin airport, and she's going to see her family for a few days for Christmas. So that gives me a few days to get this Mercedes done so I can surprise her with it when she gets back, hopefully. The only thing I've done so far is I did remove the seat belts so I could send those out to get them rebuilt. They should be here hopefully today or tomorrow. It's Monday. If they're not here tomorrow, since it's the 22nd, that'd be the 23rd. I probably won't get them. Maybe on the 24th, we'll see. But we'll see you soon as the sun comes up, and we'll get started. Okay, we are back, and here is what we have acquired to get started. Gonna need to pull this bumper off, I think, first, and get that fixed. Pop this off so we can replace that. And I think before anything, I need to wash this thing. It's pretty dirty. Always a good place to start. And here's our parts. Got some inner fender wells. We got this is the latch hood catch safety for the hood. Top radiator panel with the air inlet, and we got a new air inlet, grill, emblem, marker, and this good stuff right here ought to do the job. We're going to put in some other material with it to make that bumper even stronger, but we'll get washing and get started. Using paint thinner. If you know a better way, let me know. Sometimes it comes right off, sometimes it takes forever. Okay, car's clean, bumper's off, we're ready to get started. And also, I just wanted to say that I don't recommend washing off your engine compartment like this. I've had a few bad experiences in the past with cars, misfiring and having issues, and definitely don't want to suck water in or anything. But since this car is going to be sitting for at least a couple days, should have no problem letting everything evaporate, dry off, and should be good to go. So for this, I'm going to start stripping everything out, all lights off of it. I was hoping to just fix this damaged corner and maybe blend this area, but there's just too many scratches and a couple other chips and stuff over here, so as well as up here. So I think I'm going to take it all apart and paint the whole thing. Ooh la la. I think we got both of those new parts, so I shouldn't need any of that. And don't want to misplace a screw though. Should probably get a magnet tray so I can put all these in it. This guy. Looks like we got, those are Torx bit inside there. Grab one of those. Let's see what size this is. It's a T15. There's about 4 of these guys. And hopefully the whole light assembly will pop off of here. Oh yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm getting loose. Give me that. And there we go, slides right out. Got a little hook on the corner there. Slips into that slot. And we'll put the screws back in this guy so we don't lose them. All right, on this washer door, I'm a little afraid that I might break it, but it looks like it just pops off. Just slides off the end of the little hinge arm there, so let's see if we can do it. Oh yeah. Like butter. Spring. Ta-da! Done. Okay, last 2 things here is a little door for our toe connection. There. Then lower grill, pretty much these can be kind of a pain sometimes trying to get all these connections, but looks like it's got a reinforcement bracket on the end here, and just need to kind of go through and push all these plastic tabs down. Sometimes you have to put use 2 tools to kind of pull pressure off, because it's got pressure going against it here and then a little hook edge there, so probably need 2 hands to do this. So since we are repairing this bumper and it's got this reinforcement support bracket in here, it is going to require us to drill out these pop rivets. We got 2 there and 2 up top here, 1 right there. So I am using a 3/16 and we'll give her a shot. Boom. Easy as pie. Okay, got that all apart. Wasn't too bad. There's like a little metal clip that slips over here, and then getting this one out is actually pretty difficult. It's probably the hardest part. You can see it's got a retaining pressure clip against it, and it's not easy to get out. And then there's a little metal one in there. Can you see it, sort of, maybe? Yeah, there you go. So, for this now, we're going to take some 100 grit and sand all the areas that we want to apply some epoxy to. And luckily for us, this has a reinforcement structure in here. Otherwise, usually you might want to either like staple this together or drill holes and put zip ties in it, or at least drill holes and put epoxy through the holes, because that's going to help hold everything a lot better from cracking again. But we're going to mix this up after we sand it, and we'll also put some of this sheetrock tape on there, joint tape, and that will add to our durability and keep this thing from cracking apart. Okay, so we're sanding this, and got all this sanded pretty good in here, but not liking the way that it's fitting together perfectly. I mean, for the most part it's good, but in this front corner it's kind of got more of a gap than what I would like to see. So I'm gonna sand in there a little bit, and then I'm gonna wrap zip ties around this whole area to hold it together while we put the epoxy on it and let it set up. Okay, we wiped everything down with a rag and some paint thinner. All the surface we're working on. Now we're just mixing this epoxy up. We're going to put one coat on first, a little thin coat, and then we'll apply the tape into it. Let's see how that goes. Okay, well, this is curing up. Got that in here. I just put this sandpaper in here as like a buffer to hold against these clamps, so that clamps wouldn't get stuck to the bumper. And once that dries, we'll put a second coat on, get it nice and thick and permanent, but it's looking pretty good. And like I said, I had already pulled all the seat belts out, and I did make a video on that, so if anybody was needing or wondering some information there. But I've also been getting people asking about the Challenger, wanting to see update on that. Basically, I got it finished as far as where I wanted to go with it, because I don't think that anything I do to it really is going to be a big profit car, and I'd like to build something a little cooler, so I want to get rid of it as soon as possible. And I'm just waiting on the title. Should have been here by now. I don't know how Copart can get away with selling cars without titles, and it wasn't listed as a pending title vehicle because I stay away from those. I don't like screwing around with trying to buy a car and not have a title, and then, you know, if you get into it and you want to work on it, put money into it, invest your time, all that, and then there's a huge issue with the title or something, you're going to be screwed. So that is my advice, and I don't like to get involved with that. So I wouldn't have bought this car if I knew that it did have a pending title. But here it is, and it's just sitting back here waiting. I did straighten out the hood a little bit here just to get it looking better. Just took a 2x4 and basically just set it under the apron there and just kind of pushed the hood on it a little bit. I heated it up first with a heat gun just to help soften the paint and the metal, get it a little easier to work with. Washed it all up, of course. It did have one flat tire, had a nail in it, so I took it in and got it patched. And we cleaned up the interior. It all turned out pretty good, I think. I mean, it wasn't awful to begin with, but I think it's looking pretty good. Whereas anybody would be plenty happy with it, I think. I did something I shouldn't have done, just for, you know, future people. Well, I guess not too bad. It's still removable. I thought that because what I did was I glued this heavily up in here and set a brick on here for like a week. because this was pulled up so far. And I was thinking that maybe this little heat vent that slides in would have got glued in as well, which I didn't want to, you know, screw somebody over for the next time. But you can see all the vents, they're kind of warped around it from the heat. So classy one there, Dodge. Very classy. Better than the plastic ones that used to break apart after 10 years though. So this thing, other than that, she fires right up. Seems to be doing pretty good. We changed the oil, you know, transmission fluid, gear oil, brakes, all that stuff is perfectly fine. Had people make some comments about that stuff, but like I said before, this car was never like submerged in water. I mean, the interior, there's nothing in here. There's no mold, no signs of moisture, wetness, period. Tranny fluid, all that looks good. The motor oil too, like I had shown you before, looked good. There was no moisture in it whatsoever when I drained it. You know, I've done head gaskets, whatever, you know, water is always at the bottom, oil floats on top. So, you know, you go to drain it, boom, you get the water or coolant out first, then the oil. There was nothing like that in there. It was all pure oil. So I think we lucked out pretty good on this one, and just wanted to give you guys an update. Here in the Plymouth, we got our paint code for the Mercedes. I'm gonna get enough paint to do the respray the front bumper and the quarter panel on the driver's side. I just hate the way it looks. Somebody did a previous repair there, and I need to get it looking the way it should be. So here we go. Okay, we are back. We got our paint supplies. We got mixing cups. We got a quart clear coat and just a pint of the black, because we're just gonna kind of do some spots and some blending, probably not paint the entire panels. Some hardener, and I have some reducer, so should be good. I also put a second coat on the bumper here. Really got in and try to reinforce everything, make sure it's not gonna come apart, it's gonna look good. So next, unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to get into this and just sand these areas down. And so we'll start by taping off our edges so we don't damage anything. And I'll probably just sand these areas real good, and then just kind of scuff the rest of the panel down to our stopping edges, which will be here around the quarter, and then up this whole pillar to right here, which is where you can see they had done the same thing last time. Let's get to it. So we got some tape on for protection all around the edges. It's real easy to get tight in here around the chrome. That should turn out really nice. In here I did tape the edge of the door and inside the quarter, but you should probably get some foam backer is what you're supposed to put in here, so you get like a seamless edge, especially on your clear coat when you spray it in. Glass was easy to go across. It's like a small rubber seal in here, and sometimes these are glued in, sometimes they're just popped in. Would have been real easy to just take this out, but someone else has painted this before, and you can kind of see they didn't do a very good job. So I'm not that worried about it. I just want to make this thing look presentable, and the taillight's easy enough to get around the edges with space, so I'm not worried about that either. Pulling that out. Let's get on it. Look at this. And I can just see as I'm sanding it, that's just not even attached. Whatever they used for primer, or they probably let the primer sit too long and then didn't scuff it again or something before laying on the paint. That's pretty bad, pretty ugly. So I need to get all this back down and fix it. Okay, I got this all sanded where we want, wiped it down with thinner, and here too, mixing up some good stuff, and gotta try and get this right on our first try here, hopefully, because it's gonna get cold tonight, and I want to get some sealer on there before it gets all wet from the moisture tonight in the air. Alright, got it laid on here, fairly smooth, and now we wait. Getting pretty close, boys and girls. Lay on my sealer primer. I'll probably do 2 coats of this sealer. It's pretty late tonight, already like about 10 o'clock. And tomorrow we'll add some filler primer and then do our guide coat. So we can start sanding some more. Ugh, I hate sanding. It's exhausting. Alright, that's it for today. See you tomorrow. And we are back. Next day here. See what kind of progress we made. Not sure if it's enough, but let's give it a shot. I'm hoping I can just wet sand this stuff, throw a little guide coat, and get it all done. Yes, I have a new opener. No, I haven't wired it yet. Whew, sun. Okay, well, it feels nice. A couple little pinholes. Definitely gonna have to work on that a little bit. Get her dialed in. How'd we do up front here? That one's looking pretty good too. Just a little fuzz. Putting on my guide coat here so I can easily spot the highs and lows as you're sanding. Definitely makes it a lot easier than just trying to feel it with your fingers. And anything you can feel with your fingers, you'll definitely see with your eyes. Alright, round 2. Waiting for this to dry. And come over here and do some straightening. Get this stuff mounted back up. Oh, God. It's gonna be beautiful. Just trying to wash this off, clean it up, so we can get some tape back on the edges, tarp the whole car off, and wipe down with some wax and grease remover. My bodywork is looking sick. Bumper turned out really good too. Just look at it. Look at that. That's nice. That's real nice. Okay, we got our first coat of base coat down. Just in time. It's getting dark. Four hours later, and we had some major trouble, but we overcame it and had to paint this quarter again. Got a visitor. Oh, don't do that. That's nasty. What's up, guys? So, we got some bad news. Let's take a look at what we're dealing with here. But working hard all night on trying to fix multiple issues with the paint I was having on this car. I ended up thinking I got it licked and finished the front bumper. Turned out beautiful. I set it in here in the garage, and turned out nice, shiny, beautiful. Came out to see the quarter panel, and let me show you what we ended up with. Nice, looking good, and not nice, looking bad, real bad. And quite a shame. Put a lot of effort into that for sure, and not sure if it was just the moisture in the air, which is, I put the bumper inside, and killing myself for not putting the car inside. Yeah, pretty sure that either primer and things that didn't have enough time to cure, or just the which it's over the whole panel except for those certain areas. So what happened was, the first time around, got it all body worked just the way I wanted it, and I saw there was another little bubble coming up through like the paint had before, which is why I was fixing the quarter panel in the first place. So didn't want any more issues with that, so I ended up digging it out and going back over it. So that caused one problem, and then let's see, got it all fixed, blocked out, ready to go again, and there was something else. I think I had some kind of reaction in the primer. No, I shot the base coat on the bumper and the car had a reaction. So that was pretty depressing. So I stopped midway up the quarter panel, ended up using cleaner and reducer and trying to rub the whole quarter down. It was just eating up sandpaper and everything else. It was, gooey paint. You can't do nothing with it. So I took my heat gun, tried drying it out. It was just a disaster, and finally got it all cleaned back off, sanded proper all the way to the midpoint body line right there. So from there up to about right here, redid all that. Had to prime it, sand it, and it was dark by then, but had no choice because I already had the last of my paint in the paint gun waiting. So I had to get it done. So I went for it, got it dried out as best as I could, waited about 2 hours, and sprayed a base coat on, let it tack up, sprayed another heavy coat on, and then let it sit for about 30-40 minutes, and started with the clear, and the bumper went on beautifully, and as well did the car. It looked great, and came out in the morning to find it like this. So my only option now I'm going to try is to wet sand and polish it. It's probably not going to do the trick, but at that point maybe I can just re-clear over it. We'll see if there's any discoloration or weird looking spots after we get it blocked out. So that's what we're doing. let's hope we can save this thing. Okay, so I started up here, got kind of the worst areas, and you can actually see the milkiness here. It's kind of like, you can see there, the cloud in it, and it is actually taking it off, and starting a little aggressive with a 600, which might be too much, but I put a lot of clear on here. I did 3 heavy coats, and hoping it'll be enough. I can hit it now with like a 1200 and then 2000 and see if we can get this thing to shine. I'm hopeful, because I worked really hard on this. Like I said, I don't like doing body work. I'm not very good at it. I was really proud of how this was looking, and this was a huge letdown. So pray for me, cross your fingers that I can save it. Gave it a rinse, and man, that bodywork is looking fantastic. But definitely looking better already. See where I haven't sanded. So, fingers crossed. Well, ready to start polishing. Went and spent the big bucks on the good stuff. So, try and cut her down a little more with this, beyond the sanding, get it smooth, and hope this does the trick, polish her up. They say you need to use this wool pad, but they're so hard. I don't like them on the contours, so I don't know. I guess we'll try it, but I like the idea of the soft pad much better. Just giving her a final wash. Turned out pretty good. She's nice and shiny. Yeah, always good to get these clean as quick as possible. Make sure you don't leave any wax or polishing compound, because it will really ruin your day. Super hard to get off once it's dry, and especially on things like window felting rubber, it will stay there forever. That's looking pretty good. Well, I'd say the car's done if we had some seat belts. Oh, praise God, McGuire's and Safety Restore coming through. Ta-da! All right, it's 1 o'clock. I gotta leave by about 3, go pick her up from the airport, so I better get on it. We are back. We're finished. We got it all done just in time. I cannot believe it. 3 days, lots of work. Seemed almost endless. Things weren't working out for me, you know. Sometimes that just happens when you take on a project and you think it's gonna go perfect and smooth and beautiful, and you know, I guess you just get lucky when that happens. So let's take a look. Right. Well, we got everything in. Seatbelts are in, functioning, all good. I just cannot believe I got it done. I was so close to just giving up, and I'm really excited I got it done, got it all cleaned up, detailed pretty well. Like I said, you know, doing that body work, and at first I didn't even know if I wanted to do that, but then I thought, God, you can't give her this car with paint falling off the quarter panel, you know, just looks terrible. Nobody's gonna appreciate that. So I went for it, and boy, the moment I started sanding that down with my DA, I was just like cringing. But I'm just super thankful, and McGuire's, you really came through for me, and it's awesome. I hope she really appreciates it, loves it. Her dream car is a G-Class, and I'm always looking. Hopefully I can afford to get one of those soon. I really appreciate you guys watching and giving me likes and subscribing. That's awesome. Like I said, there's always new things coming. Yesterday, I did miss out on a 2015 Z28. I really wanted that thing, and I completely missed the auction. Usually they're at noon. This one was in a different state, and I think it started at 11. Came on at 12 to check it out. It was already sold. And those cars are hard to find. Either they're missing the seats, or they're missing, you know, the seats and the drivetrain. Usually people are always stealing them or whatever. I'm not sure, but super hard to find. I'm also looking for maybe like a 911 or a Z06 C7. So stay tuned for that. We'll get into more of that stuff. And it's almost 3:30 right now, so I need to get in another car, zoom off to the airport, and pick her up. But here's another little look at the car before I go. Whoa, too much zoomage. All things considered, I am super happy with it. All this front end, God, that took, I didn't get any of that on camera. Like I said, I was very pressed for time, but aligning these headlights, which you have to do before you put the bumper on, is very difficult. But I got it looking pretty good. I'm happy.